Today, we're looking at something special.
We really are. Not just a car, but, well, a whole philosophy on four wheels.
That's a great way to put it. We're diving into the specs, the history, the racing success of a machine we recently featured over on the Vintage Noise YouTube channel.
That's right, our channel. We're talking about the Porsche 356 A1500 GS Carrera GT, built between, what, 57 and 58?
Correct. 1957 and 1958. A very specific and very potent machine.
And it's fundamental, really. If you want to grasp Porsche's core ideas back then, this car, it's like a blueprint. We're talking the absolute peak of the early 356 series. And get this, when it launched in 57, this was officially the fastest street legal car Porsche made. And they were still a pretty small company then.
Yeah, it's still growing. And that name, Carrera GT, it tells you a lot. When the A-Series Carrera came out in May 57, Porsche basically gave you two options for that high-strung engine. You had the Carrera Deluxe.
Yeah.
That was aimed at, the well-off enthusiast who wanted speed, but also some creature comforts for the road.
Right, the nice version.
Sorta. And then you had the Gran Turismo, the GT, built for one thing.
The track.
Purely. So our mission today really is to unpack the engineering differences, how Porsche chased performance by just stripping away everything. Weight was the enemy.
An uncompromising approach.
Totally. It's a masterclass in focus.
Okay, so let's jump right into that design philosophy. You said the key difference wasn't really power, but weight. The GT was basically a race car you could technically buy for the street.
Exactly. And they were almost fanatical about shedding pounds. I mean, the most famous detail, the thing that gave it its nickname, was ripping out the heater entirely.
Which is how it became known as the icebox.
Yeah.
Brilliant, really. It wasn't just about comfort. It was a signal.
It was a statement. You bought this car to go fast, maybe win races. Being cold, that was secondary.
Your problem, basically.
Pretty much. And every single gram mattered. The inside, no sound deadening at all.
So you heard everything. The engine, the road.
Oh, yeah. Constantly. The side windows weren't glass. They were simple pull-up Perspex sheets, super thin, and the door panels, about as basic as you could possibly make them.
What gets me is how far they went beyond just the obvious stuff, like seats. They didn't even put the standard undercoating on the chassis.
Right. Saved a few pounds there.
They fitted these visibly lightened aluminum bumper brackets and swapped the standard steering wheel for a Nardi aluminum one. And this wasn't like an option package.
No.
This was the GT spec from the factory.
That dedication to weight loss, it paid off. The GTs were way lighter than 8356 before them. The coupe version got down to, 1,903 pounds? Just under 864 kilos, yeah.
And the Speedster variant, even lighter, 1,848 pounds.
Think about that for the mid-50s. Getting a proper sports car under 2,000 pounds with that engine, some serious engineering. Weight was their main weapon. It really was. Okay, so let's talk about the heart of the beast. Because this car had one of Porsche's most legendary engines, the Type 547-1 flat 4.
The quad cam. Now, this engine is famous, but maybe for listeners who aren't deep into the mechanics, why was it such a big deal and maybe such a headache?
Well, the complexity is key here. It wasn't a simple pushrod engine. This had dual overhead camshafts, DOHC, and 4 valves per cylinder.
Which was pretty exotic for 57.
Extremely exotic for an air-cooled flat 4. Building it, tuning it, maintaining it, incredibly difficult and expensive. It required specialist knowledge.
So they were really prioritizing high RPM breathing over simplicity.
Absolutely. That DOHC setup allowed for much better valve control at high speeds, higher compression.
Yeah.
It meant the engine could rev safely to 6,400 RPM, and it squeezed 110 horsepower out of just under 1.5 liters.
Which is over 73 horsepower per liter. Pretty impressive back then.
Very impressive. And it wasn't just the cams. They used dry sump lubrication, too.
Right. Can you explain why that was important for racing?
Sure. A dry sump is classic race tech. Instead of oil sitting in a pan at the bottom, it pumps the oil out to a separate tank. Why? Well, in hard cornering.
The oil sloshes away from the pickup in a normal pan.
Exactly. You risk oil starvation, which can destroy an engine very quickly. The dry sump guarantees constant oil pressure no matter how hard you're cornering or braking. Essential for track work.
So, okay, mechanically, the GT engine itself wasn't hugely more powerful than the deluxe version on paper, right? It was mainly the sports exhaust and, well, less car to move.
Pretty much, yeah. The sports muffler offered very little silencing, saved a bit more weight, maybe freed up a tiny bit of power. But the Wraith Prep went way beyond just the engine, too.
Like the brakes.
Oh, yeah. They didn't mess around. The GT got the brakes from the 550 RS Spyder race car.
The giant killer.
That's the one.
Yeah.
These brakes were 10 millimeters thicker than standard 356 units, and crucially, they had cooling scoops, essential for handling the heat during long races.
And speaking of long races, fuel capacity. A standard 356 tank was what, 13, 14 gallons?
About 13.8 gallons. But for endurance racing, you needed more range. So the Carrera GT got this massive 21-gallon tank, nearly 80 liters.
Wow. And they stuck that right up front.
Yep, right in the nose. It wasn't just about range, though. Putting all that weight over the front axle really helped with balance and high-speed stability. Think about blasting through mountain passes.
Right, settles the front end. And the suspension got some tweaks, too.
It did. To sharpen the handling, they changed the rear torsion bar settings to give 1 degree of negative camber.
So the tops of the rear wheels tilt inwards slightly.
That's it. Maximizes the tire's contact patch when you're cornering hard. Big improvement in grip and response, but really only suitable for track use or maybe aggressive rallying. Wears the inside of the tires out quickly on the street.
Okay, so they built this focused, lightweight, track-ready machine. Let's talk results. Did the philosophy actually work when the tires hit the tarmac?
Oh, immediately. The GT started winning right out of the gate in 1957. Yeah, the debut season was impressive. At the 12 Hours of Reims, which is a serious endurance race, factory batch GTs driven by von Hanstein and Hild, they'd actually bore them out slightly to 1529cc.
Ah, okay.
They won their class easily and finished 6th and 7th overall against much bigger cars.
That's punching above its weight. But wasn't the Speedster version the real star that year?
I think so. That's maybe the GT's most iconic moment from 57. Claude Storez took a Carrera GT Speedster and won the Liège-Rome-Liège rally.
Which was brutal, right? Non-stop across Europe.
And absolutely infamous. Thousands of miles, public roads, mountains, no sleep allowed, basically. Yeah. Winning that wasn't just about speed. It was about unbelievable toughness for both car and driver.
And didn't Storez use that same car for another big event?
He did. That's the amazing part. He took the exact same Speedster, probably still dusty from the rally, and finished 5th overall in the Tour de France Auto, another punishing road race. It proved the car could take incredible abuse.
So by 1958, Porsche knew exactly what they had.
They'd refined the package. The factory cars were even more sorted. They started using Weber carburetors instead of the Solexes.
Pushing power up a bit more?
Yeah, getting closer to 125 horsepower. And they added an external oil cooler on the factory race cars.
Learning from those endurance races, managing the heat better.
Exactly. And that refinement really showed in the results. Think about this one specific silver coupe in 1958.
Okay.
Hutschke von Hanstein and Herbert Linge raced it at the Sebring 12-hour race.
Huge race in America.
And won the 1600cc class. Massive win.
Incredible.
But wait, it gets better. They shipped that same silver coupe back to Europe.
No way.
And it went on to win its class at the Targa Florio.
The Targa Florio, that crazy Sicilian road race.
The very one. Winning Sebring and the Targa, same car, same year. That cemented the Carrera GT as a truly dominant force in its class worldwide.
And it wasn't just a European thing, was it? It made waves in the U.S., too.
Absolutely. Emmanuel Pupility won the SCCA's F Production National Championship driving a Carrera GT in 1958. It really influenced club racing everywhere.
Which leads us nicely into the next evolution, because Porsche never sits still for long, right?
Never. So in late 1958, they introduced the new T2 body style for the 356. And naturally, there was an even more refined Carrera GT version based on it.
Still the same core idea, but more sophisticated, maybe.
Yeah, and an even greater focus on using aluminum to save weight.
Okay, what parts went aluminum on the T2 GT?
Well, you got aluminum doors and aluminum engine hoods as standard fitment.
Right.
They even used aluminum frames for the bucket seats and swapped the chrome bumper trim strips for aluminum ones, still chasing every single gram.
Even the wheels were special.
Yep. Two-piece wheels with alloy centers, lighter than the standard steel wheels.
So if you're lucky enough to see one today, how do you spot a T2 Carrera GP? What are the giveaways?
Visually, the T2 body has a few key differences. You look for louvers on the rear engine lid.
Ah, okay.
And maybe the easiest tell, there's an opening on the front hood for the fuel filler cap because of that big race tank underneath. You didn't have to open the hood to refuel.
Makes sense for quick pit stops. And were there mechanical upgrades too, beyond the aluminum?
There were. Important ones, actually. They've fitted a larger steering box for better feel and control, used stronger front spindles to cope with racing stress, and made some key improvements to the transmission for better durability and shifting. Little refinements learned from racing.
Now, any 356 Carrera GT is rare, But the T2 version with the quad-cam engine, that's unicorn territory, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. We really have to stress the rarity here. Making that quad-cam engine was so complex and expensive, and the T2 GT was so specialized, Porsche built fewer than 10.
Wow. Less than 10 T2s with the quad-cam.
A tiny number, but hugely significant in Porsche's history. A real pinnacle.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. We followed the 356 A1500 GS Carrera GT from this stripped bare, heaterless icebox.
Oh, yeah.
Built for dedicated racers, all the way to winning its class at Sebring and the Targa Florio, all within just a couple of years.
It's quite a journey. And I think the main takeaway is crystal clear. This car really laid down Porsche's core philosophy. Performance through smart engineering, brilliant engine design, and this relentless focus on lightweight construction, not just brute horsepower.
A philosophy that still runs through every car they make today, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Performance through efficiency. That's the thread that started right back here.
So thinking about this for today's world, for the enthusiasts and collectors, it raises an interesting point, doesn't it? Given how extreme Porsche was in 1957 to save every single pound, literally yanking the heater, putting in bare aluminum seats, how much of that raw, uncompromising race car soul gets lost when people restore these GTs today with plush carpets, sound insulation, comfy seats?
That's a fascinating question. I mean, is the icebox meant to be comfortable? The discomfort was part of its identity, part of the price you paid for performance?
Right. Restoring it with modern luxuries. Does it kind of miss the point of what the car fundamentally was?
You could definitely argue that. Preserving that period-correct austerity, that rawness, maybe that's key to understanding its historical importance and its place in the Porsche legend. It was built to make the driver work, maybe even suffer a little for the speed.
Something to think about next time you see a gleaming, perfectly restored 356 Carrera GT. Maybe. Anyway, thanks for sharing your sources with us. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the heart and soul of the Porsche Carrera GT.